Hey everyone, I am Bubbles BuzzerBeater, and this is the unofficial official BuzzerBeater YouTube channel. So I'm back with my second video. The first one that I posted got an overwhelmingly positive response from you guys, so I really appreciate that. If you guys keep liking the video and watching it, I'll keep creating content for you guys. So I was happy to see how successful that first one was, and I think this one is going to be better than that video as well. So in this one, I just wanted to dig a little bit deeper into Buzzer Beater and kind of helping out brand new teams, new managers that might not know the ins and outs of Buzzer Beater yet, and just kind of give some tips and maybe create like a brand new team guide for some new managers. So before I get going into that, I also did have a couple people reach out to me personally and ask about some sign up delays. And I talked to some guys on the site, and they informed me that it can occasionally take anywhere from a couple of hours to around 24 hours for your account to get approved and created. But more times than not, it shouldn't be that long. It should happen almost immediately, so you should have access sooner rather than later. But I did want to just mention that. So if you are having some issues accessing your team right away, don't panic. Just try to come back to the site later in the day or the following day, and your team should be set up for you and ready to go. So, like I said, I wanted to make a more in depth, brand new Buzzer Beater team guide with some general tips and maybe just include some tips that might help some newer managers that are still in their first few seasons. And then I wanted to include my personal strategy guide for a brand new team. So this strategy applies mostly to managers that will start off in a Division 4 or Division 3 league, and these will be in countries with higher user counts like Spain, Italy, United States, France, some of the bigger countries, and these strategies will vary a little bit if you're in a country with a smaller user base and less divisions. But I just wanted to include a strategy for the Division 4 and Division 3 brand new teams. So I'm going to start off with some tips. The first tip that I have for you is to complete the tutorial. And I know I talked about this a little bit in my first video, but if you complete the tutorial that's on the site when you first sign up, it'll give you $10,000 per completed task, or $250,000 in total. And then the more important thing is actually that it provides you with 3 players between roughly $8,000 and $12,000 salaries, so they're pretty decent players. And these players can help be the cornerstones of your team when you're first starting out. And then I also wanted to mention that you should read through the game manual, because that'll answer a lot of common questions that people have when they first start. So rather than going to the forums on there and asking some questions that are pretty common, you can actually find them on the game manual and save yourself some time as well. So I did want to show just kind of the difference between what a starting player on your initial roster might look like, and then what the players might look like that you get once you complete the tutorial. So this is my guy Kip Telecaster Pickett. He is not very good, as you can see, but I love him. He's an announcer, which is like the lowest potential you can have on this game, so I keep him on my team for kicks and giggles. But as you can see, he has 55 total skill points down here, which isn't a lot. It's not terrible for a starting player, but it's not a lot. And then over to the right, you'll see 3 players with the little star at the bottom right of their profile picture. And these are the sort of players that you'll get once you complete the tutorial, where they're a little bit better and can do a little bit more things for you, and then you don't have to pay any money for them. They just get added onto your team, which is really nice. The only catch with these guys is that they can't be placed on the transfer list for 6 months, so you can't sell them right away. You are welcome to fire them if you want to, but more than likely you'll want to keep them on your team because they'll be some of the better players on your team. And then these guys also give your team a merchandise boost, and like I said, they help you succeed early on in the game. So the next tip I have is expand your arena early and often. So BuzzerBeater is a game about money as much as it is about basketball. And teams with the most revenue have more flexibility to add talent to their rosters and improve their staffs and training situations than teams that don't expand their arena at all. So the arena is the best way to increase your revenue quickly, and it's nice because once you expand it, you don't have any additional charges on it, you're just making more money. So it sets yourself up for success in the future, and it gives you an advantage over lower division teams that don't invest in their arena at all. And then my next one is training and roster construction. So roster construction is really, really important because you want to limit your roster to 13, 14 players to keep your salary for your team a little bit lower, because once you get up to players in the 15, 16 range, you'll have guys that don't play any minutes for you and they're just kind of wasting salary and wasting a spot on your team. So I recommend training players. So I like to find 2 or 3 young 18, 19-year-old players with some decent potential when you first start out. And then I think you should invest in a decent trainer and or a youth trainer. So I would get a youth trainer and a regular trainer if you got 18 and 19-year-olds. But the youth trainers only assist the 18 and 19-year-olds. So once they turn 20, the youth trainer isn't effective at all. But I would recommend getting an advanced trainer and an advanced youth trainer if you can. And then the other cool thing about new teams is that the salary floor does not kick in for new teams until 24 weeks into your franchise. So every league will have a salary floor to hopefully keep the teams more balanced. So if you're under that salary floor after 24 weeks, it just makes you pay the salary floor. But before 24 weeks, then you're just paying what your actual team salary is. So you can also save some money that way, which is a good thing to know. And then the other tip that I have is to ignore high salary players and to use game day prep. So BuzzerBeater is a marathon, not a race. And as I said in my first video, BuzzerBeater is a slow-paced game. So while it may seem rewarding to just instantly buy some 35-year-old talented player to lead your team, you should be patient, make smart transactions, and find players that fit your longer-term goals. So one of the biggest mistakes that I see new managers make is they're trying to force promotion right away by buying 2 or 3 30-plus-year-olds with high salaries. And then you're promoting when your trainees in an arena aren't ready for the next level yet. So the nice thing about Division 4 USA leagues are that roughly half the teams are bots. So you can get some really easy wins, and you can be a playoff team by simply managing your team's game shape and using game day prep. So bots, every single game, if you're playing against a computer, they play base offense, man-to-man defense. So if you use game day prep, if you always guess balanced normal against bots, you're more likely to win that game, and you're more likely to build up point differential, which can be an important tiebreaker later on in the season. But yeah, so essentially, you want to find players that just match with your longer term goals, and you want to save money and not throw it away on older players that you're going to sell or fire 2 or 3 seasons down the line. Okay, so this is going to be my strategy for a Division 4 USA team. If you're first starting out in the USA Division 4, I think this will be very similar to, like I said, some of the other countries like Spain, Italy, and France, where they have larger users, and more than likely half the users in that Division 4 or lower division won't actually be active, won't be as involved, or they'll be actually computerized players. So I recommend only buying 3 18-year-old players the very first season. So I think buying 1 MVP plus potential player is useful, because those are the guys that you can actually train longer. You can train them 25, 26, 27 if you really want to, and they can be a higher salary and higher total skill point player for you. And then also having a couple perennial All-Star Plus players. And you can find these guys on the transfer list fairly cheap. I don't think you'll have to spend more than $100K on all of them combined. So I think that's a good route. Instead of buying some better older players, I think it's better to invest in your arena and then buy those young players. And then also buy a advanced level 4 trainer, advanced level 4 youth trainer, and a competent level 3 doctor. And then, like I said, invest the rest of your revenue into your arena. That's how you're going to get ahead of the other teams that are starting around the same time as you and are also in those lower leagues. And then my next strategy is to be competitive, but don't force your way into a promotion, like I was saying. If it happens naturally and your team is actually good enough to promote to Division 3 with just the players you have, perfect, go for it. But I don't want people to force their way into Division 3 and then get discouraged because you have a tiny arena, your trainees aren't developed, and you don't have very good players, so you'll likely go 3-19, 4-18 in Division 3 if you're forcing promotion in your first or second season. And then the next thing is invest in the draft. I suggest 2 scouting points per week is a good base. It's actually the best value you can have for scouting. And then the draft is really nice for Division 4 USA leagues because, as I said, half the teams are going to be bots. So the chances that the players you are scouting and you want to draft get taken before you are a lot less than if you're in a higher league. So if you spend some good time scouting players, you can actually find a couple people that can help you later on, or you can sell them right when they get drafted, and you can get a lot of revenue and cash that way. And then I think this is a good plan for your first 2 seasons. And then right around that third season, fourth season, is where you can start thinking about pushing for promotion and trying to update your team and get them a little bit more talent and just kind of strive for that Division 3. Division 3 is a lot harder than I think people realize. I have actually never won a playoff game in Division 3, hoping that changes this year, but yeah, Division 4 is fairly easy because you're only competing with about 2 or 3 serious managers more times than not. But Division 3, you're competing with more like 13, 14 competitive and active managers. So it's just a little bit harder. But yeah, that would be my strategy for Division 4 USA teams that are just starting out. Um, I'm sure I probably missed some things. I'm sure there's probably some other tips that you guys might have that you think are important to know. So my last thing is just what are some of your tips and strategies that you use? Feel free to comment down below if I missed something important and just kind of give me your perspective on it because I know BuzzerBeater is a very complex game and you can do a bunch of different things with it. You can do a bunch of different things with your roster. You can expand your arena at different rates. You can invest more into trainees if you want to. There's different strategies. So I just wanted to kind of see where you guys are from and what you think is the best strategy. So I'll be posting buzzer beater related content at least once a week, and I'll be posting some more higher level and more entertaining buzzer beater videos soon. Uh, since I know a lot of you that are watching this already know a lot of this information and you're more veteran managers, but I just wanted my first few videos to be geared towards the new users. So yeah, the next video I'll do, I'll probably look at doing something a little bit higher level, something a little bit more entertaining rather than just informative. Uh, but yeah, let me know what you guys are interested in seeing too, and I'll gear that towards what you guys are commenting and what you guys want to see. As always, the link for the site is listed in the description, as it will be in every video. But yeah, I'll call that for now, and I'll talk to you guys soon.